So yeah, you don't know what you get like on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
People intimidated by the church setting.
They're intimidated by the snow outside.
Right, right. Ready? We're good. We're good. Or there's a lag. Okay. All right. Welcome everybody to our February meeting of the McKinley Park Development Council. Thanks for those who made it through the snow and sleet, and welcome to the folks on welcome to the folks that are watching us live or on Zoom. So we've got a few things we're going to do today. There's some updates we want to give on different developments that we've been tracking and talking about over time. We're going to then spend time with the Southwest Home Equity Assurance crew talking about what are some programs that they offer that are really helpful for homeowners in the neighborhood. So that'll be the bulk of the time. And then we'll share some upcoming events. And I'm, for folks that don't know me, I'm Liz Gress. I live over on 37th and Honorary in the neighborhood. And this is Anthony, who's handling the tech and is going to catch anything I miss as we go through. So first, let's start with just some updates on ongoing kind of development issues that we know about. So the first is around the CARES cold storage facility, which we heard about, I don't even know how many months ago, 6 or 7 months ago. They joined a meeting of ours to talk about their plans for a property that they bought on Ashland, right near Pershing, that they are going to demolish and turn into a cold storage plant. The latest update on that is that we hear that they actually have gotten agreement from the Department of Planning and Development on a final design for that. There was a lot of input from our meeting about ways to try to preserve parts of the building and make it not look like just a sort of a really sort of cold, intimidating building there. We'll see where that comes from. We'll have an update on that in the coming weeks. Hello, welcome. On sort of the other update is on the Damon silos, which folks who've been following know that the state put those silos up for sale with no community input on what folks wanted to see with that site. They went with a purely highest bidder process. There were a number of organizations, including ours, that and including the city of Chicago, who sort of tried to get in around saying we need a different process on that. So one of the updates on that is that now that that site has been sold, they have to move into a planned development process, and we're going to have somebody from the city join us at one of our upcoming meetings to talk to us more about what's entailed in that process and what are all the different avenues for community input to make sure that we still have a say on what happens on a piece of riverfront that is in our neighborhood that folks, want to continue to have access to and enjoy in the neighborhood. The other update is around the central manufacturing district. There's flyers on this in the back of the room. We'll also share this to our sort of social media sites. But as folks know, the city put out a request for proposals for a couple of the properties that they own along Pershing. In this process, they actually did it differently than they've done processes like this in the past, where they took into account the neighborhood plan that the McKinley Park Development Council, along with others, spent a long time getting together. So they took into account what some of the vision of the neighborhood was in. scoring proposals from the community to make sure that that was being paid attention to. They now have three finalists, three final proposals that they are bringing to the community for further input. And so there's going to be a meeting on that March 7th. On a Tuesday. The location is still to be determined, but it'll be in the neighborhood to present those three proposals and get further input from the community around which of those proposals we really think is the best fit for the neighborhood. So that is upcoming, and we'll make sure that people know about that because that's a pretty major new development that will come into the neighborhood, and it really stands to influence what happens with the rest of that sort of corridor of buildings there. So that's kind of the other update.
And just to tack on to that, in addition to the questions that the community may have already sent to us, we sent all those to DPD prior to this meeting being convened. But we are assured that after the public hearing happens, there's going to be a window of time where you can still submit even more questions after that presentation happens. So we've already shared anything that might have been sent to us thus far, but we understand that we'll have a window of time to submit more questions. Yeah.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yes,
please.
Thank you. So I did read about the three, and so if there's no consensus on either one of these, do they put out another RFP, or is it just one of these three are going to get?
That is a good question, and I think that's something that, unless you know, that we can ask with DPD about.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, that's a fair question to ask. My understanding is that they're going to, if one of these proposals seems to have the funding and has met the criteria, that they're going to go with it, is my understanding, but it's a fair question.
Yeah, I think that's a totally valid point. Like, what if the community is really a mixed bag on everything?
Right.
Yeah, that's a good question.
The two are very similar.
Right.
So with one having a little bit of an edge than the other, but yeah, just kind of wondering if that is it and how that will affect, because whatever goes in there will affect any other business that come in, like a domino effect.
Yes.
Right.
Uh-huh.
So we want to make like one of those things.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And the question for the folks online, if you were having a trouble hearing, just want to make sure, what happens if during that RFP kind of feedback meeting that there is no clear kind of winner in terms of the feedback from the community, and then just being mindful, of what happens in the process. Does that mean the process resets? The site goes back out to RFP? We don't know. We will, ask DPD because that's a good question. And finally, what kind of precedent, will the winner, if there is going to be a clear winner, what kind of precedent does that set for the community? All things that we're considering.
Yeah. And that need to be considered because it's a big deal.
Yeah, and this is the second time that the same buildings are up, right?
Yeah.
It's been a really good one before.
Yeah, the
What
last,
happened to the last one?
well, the last RFP process they did was actually around more of their property. And so there were no sort of proposals on that for for all of it that had the financing. So this time what they changed was they broke up what they had into smaller parsings. And I believe there were 5 for this RFP process. There were 5 proposals that came in, 2 of which didn't sort of meet the criteria, and these 3 were the sort of closest. So, any other questions, reactions to that one? Okay. So then the other piece that we'll just sort of update folks on is that the sort of process for the proposed marijuana dispensary in the State Farm building on Ashland and 35th is sort of continuing to move forward. There were somebody from representing the company came here and presented at a meeting. There was a public meeting at the Slice Factory right next door to it. The next meeting is actually going to be to sort of zoning and appeals, where they are going to present their proposal. So that is moving. I don't have any other update to share.
Yeah, I was at that meeting. A lot of the public comments that were heard focused around just marijuana in general. right? So there was a lot of kind of pushback from some members of the community there. We were trying to get a better understanding, some other, community members, ourselves included, trying to get a better understanding of who is the developer, what kind of business model do they run? Are they going to, can we get them on paper and saying that they'll be hiring folks from the community? We were assured that one, the company that owns the dispensary is very much so pro-union in terms of if workers who are there want to unionize themselves, they have union shops in other areas where they operate. So that was a general plus in terms of feedback that we heard about what is the business model. We also heard that there were numerous traffic studies done. We are trying to seek if they were to approve to come in, how are they going to be situated on the street on 35th? Will they be facing the street, not sort of just tucked away and having their entrance off of a back alley?
What will they do to sort of make it more pedestrian friendly right there in terms of?
Short-term and long-term, both alder persons were there. So Annabella Barca, our currently appointed alder person, was there. Nicole Lee from the 11th Ward, which this is now sitting in, was also there. And so they heard, they weren't, making any clear decisions at that meeting. They really want to look forward to hearing more from the developer and their proposal, especially about streetscaping, safety. They assured folks that, they have a lot of security cameras and they have on-site security. Most of their customers do online purchasing, so they don't carry a lot of cash in store. Most people are there to pick up an order that they made online. So a lot of folks are in and out. It's kind of like a fast food in terms of just picking up a product that you already ordered online. So they were, responding to questions about loitering and folks hanging around, and they seem to say no, their business model isn't really like that. The streets will be clear, there won't be clogged, traffic and heavy parking flow because of the fact that nobody's spending much time there to begin with. Nobody can use the product on site. Things like that is what we were able to gather from that meeting. That meeting is up on our Facebook page, McKinley Park Development Council on Facebook. So, the entire meeting from start to finish is up there if you'd like to see more.
Yeah.
I have a question about that one. Two
Yeah.
questions. I wasn't clear, are they only taking the State Farm building or also the currency exchange building?
That whole building. Yes. Yeah, they're not parsing it.
So I was watching this online, and one of the questions that they never got to was taxes. So the dispensaries are heavily taxed, and in a lot of states, especially Denver, we can look at them as an example, have enjoyed, better parks and better cultural or community benefits from the taxes incurred. So the taxes incurred from this, will they affect both? Will they be dispersed between 11 and 12? Is it mainly 11? Do we have any idea how those taxes will be dispersed and how they will be used?
I don't know how they've structured it for dispensaries.
That's
I
a
know
very good question.
In Colorado, it's actually structured where the taxes go to the state. So, they funded been able to increase their education budget in Colorado because of that. But I don't know. We'll look, we'll find out how it works in Illinois.
A number of years ago, the proposal was put forward that building next to the cold storage facility at the corner of Dayton and Pershing. That particular company offered, it was like 2% of their profit would go to the park, like specifically.
Ooh.
So I don't know that this guy wants to, can do that, but that was a previous proposal that was brought to the Civic Association that was shot down and sort of left there to die. So that.
And to your point and to your question, should this, proposal continue to move forward? I think it might be something that we would want to talk with both alders about, something that's called like a community benefits agreement, because other members of the community were asking about, can we get in writing how many people they're going to hire from the neighborhood? And are they going to be in positions of management and stuff like that too? So there's kind of in terms of just the feedback that we've gotten from it, a wealth of kind of a need to get more on paper to get the benefits of this being in the
You
neighborhood.
mentioned about wanting to work with the community. about
Yes.
Wanting to get back to the park and wanting to get back to
Yeah.
the school. So, yeah. let's
Yeah.
put it right.
Yes. Exactly.
Yes, that's a great idea. All right, anything else on the dispensary? Okay, so we will get in touch with the alders about that idea and see where we can take it. So a report out on just some other forums that have happened since, I guess, since we last met or from around then. So there've been, there was an aldermanic forum that we co-sponsored along with, the Brighton Park Neighborhood Council, Neighbors for Environmental Justice, and Southwest Environmental Alliance. That happened a week ago at Kelly High School. Very, very well attended. Over 200 people came. Alderperson candidate Julia Ramirez attended. Our appointed alderwoman, Annabella Barca, chose not to attend, which is unfortunate. But that forum is it's posted up on the web. So anyone who wants to see it can sort of watch that. There was also, there was a forum that happened earlier this week by the League of Women Voters that is recorded and accessible to folks that both Annabelle and Julia joined, so folks should check that out. I don't know if so the 11th ward also had a forum, and I don't know if they recorded that one, but we can make sure we post that one for folks in the neighborhood who are in the 11th ward.
That link was posted on the McKinley Park Community and Events page.
Great.
So it's there, or I can find it and resend it to you.
Great, so it's on the McKinley Park Community and Events page. I'll just say that again for folks that are looking for it, and we'll reshare it.
But I was also curious about the MPDC's involvement in the 11th ward forum. I mean, where MPDC is not just 12.
Yes.
And 12, so I would like to know how you guys are participating in 12.
Yeah, we were not invited to sort of sponsor that forum.
Well, you weren't invited to the one you just hosted one, right?
Well, we partnered with other
One
organizations.
for 12. Are you choosing to host one for 11?
We chose to co-sponsor the one for 12.
Are you
so
choosing to co-sponsor one for 11?
At this point, no, because there isn't anyone else that's moving it. So
And why is that though?
there's nobody else that's moving it, so I don't think we've got the capacity to pull it off.
I can answer
Yeah.
from report that CBCAC organized
Yeah.
the last organic forum, part of it is because they were used Detox Center as the location to host.
Yeah.
I'm from Bridgeport Alliance and we did some translation work, but I think this was really driven by CBCAC, and then if there's a runoff, I would expect that is likely going to be the same situation.
Yeah, but we can reach out, I'm sure there's gonna be a runoff there, so we could reach out and talk about trying to sort of do it in a way that includes McKinley Park.
That would be great. I would just like to see the MPDC represent the boards.
Yeah, and we're dealing with developments in both the wards at this point, so.
Yeah, and all that is to say, like, we have already been able to, fortunately, have a good relationship with, Nicole and Annabelle too. So like in terms of communicating with their folks, at least staying abreast of and having them present at some of the development meetings that we go to, like the cannabis one, for example.
Yeah.
They've been keeping us in the loop and are open to conversations, so.
Yeah. And then there's one other forum that happened that was for the whole Southwest side. That happened at Curie, that's also sort of available, recorded. That one actually included a number of different wards. So, you have to go through sort of all of the candidates for each of the wards. And it was candidates has much shorter time there because it was a Southwest side focused forum. So the one other update before we get to our sort of main piece is that we did want to sort of let people know that the Chicago Community Trust currently has a grant process open for small business owners of color, including worker-owned businesses. So we are going to share a link to that we shared a link in the email reminder for the meeting, and we'll share the link again. The grants range from sort of $10,000 to $15,000. But that is something that people should consider, people that can that fit the criteria should consider applying. And clearly for us, we've been really interested in seeing small business development. So this is an opportunity for that. Any questions on any of the updates? All right, so let's move to sort of what's new and upcoming. I'm going to turn this over to Victoria Gaspar, who is from the Southwest Home Equity Assurance Program, to talk to us about ways that we can tap into resources for home renovations that are sort of low or sort of no interest. And it's a really great program that I personally plan to take advantage of later this year. So with that, Victoria, come on up.
Yes. Thank you. Alrighty, thank you guys. Thank you so much for having me tonight. It's great to be here. So I will provide an overview of the program and then also talk about eligibility and then details about the benefits that we offer. So the Southwest Home Equity Assurance Program was created over 30 years ago as a safety net to guarantee property values on the southwest side of Chicago. It is a state of Illinois agency governed by an Illinois state statute existing in 3 different areas in the city of Chicago: the southwest side, Ashburn and Scottsdale, and a section of the northwest side. This program was created to alleviate the worry of property devaluation. It is a preventative measure that promotes neighborhood stabilization. We are funded by a tax levy on your property real estate tax bill. And to ensure eligibility on your property tax bill, you would see on the second installment under miscellaneous taxes, you should find SW Home Equity Assurance Chicago. So eligibility requirements. So you must be a homeowner and live in the district, and the property assured must be your principal residence. So how to become a member? So to become a member, an eligible applicant must complete a registration form and submit a current appraisal of 6 months or less. The appraisal's value is the value that we assure. If an applicant does not have a current appraisal, we can have one administered for as low as $125 for a 1 to 2 unit family home, $150 for a 3 to 4 unit family home, and $200 for a 5 to 6 unit family home or multifamily. Once the appraisal is approved, the applicant is now a member and will receive a certificate of participation. But this year, I'm really excited to announce that our board just recently voted to reinstate a new member promotion that offers new members an appraisal completed for a 1 to 2 unit family home. It's only $25. So that is our obviously our way to encourage new members to join. So just $25 for an appraisal, which is wild. So we offer 2 benefits in this program. The first one is that filing a claim. So the main reason our program was created was to protect your investment, to guarantee your property value. To do so, let's say a member decides to sell their home and they are worried they will not receive the value of their home. So Southwest Home Equity Assurance Program will compensate the money that's lost in that sale. So right now our payout is 100%. So now to obtain this benefit, a member must be a member for at least 5 years with the established value. Once they do this, they will follow a series of rules and regulations so they can go ahead and obtain that benefit. So a series of rules and regulations that we have, for example, members must have a realtor. They cannot sell to a developer. It has to be sold to another family. The listing price must start at the assured value, and board approval is needed to reduce the listing price. So those are just a few to name, but we always recommend to our members that they come and visit our office first before they decide to sell, so we can kind of go over all of the details. So here's an example of the guaranteed property value. So let's say an applicant becomes a member in 2023 at a value of $300,000. They wait 5 years. And then in 2028, they decide to sell. And they have to start the listing price at $300,000. Let's say they follow the process correctly and they end up selling their home for $280,000. Well, we will pay them the difference. So they will sell their home for $280,000, come to our office and receive a check for $20,000. So we have paid over 140 claims, totaling over $5.6 million since the inception of our program. And right now we have a little over 9,000 residents that have joined the program since the beginning. So the second benefit that we offer is the home improvement loan program. We offer 4 programs to repair and or upgrade your home. The programs range from 0 to a low interest rate from $1,000 to $30,000. And we partnered with 2 local banks. So Marquette and Hoyne Bank are the 2 banks that you would have to apply for this loan. So our most popular program in the home improvement loan program is the 0% interest up to $10,000 home improvement loan that you can obtain. Members have 5 years to pay it off, and once they do, they can go ahead and apply for another one. There is no penalty if you decide to pay it off before the 5 years are up as well. One thing that we're very proud of as well at Southwest is that you can take out as many as you'd like once they are paid off. So we have some members that have taken out 3-4 different loans since they've joined our program. We do require a home inspection just to ensure that the funds are used for the home. So yeah, members can apply for this program as quick as the next day once they become members. You will have to be approved per banking requirements. So credit score minimum of 640, everything except for your mortgage. There must not be any other lien on the property except for your mortgage, and 20% equity into the home. So since the inception of the program, we have closed out about over 1,160 home improvement loans. So that's usually our most popular benefit. But in conclusion, our mission is to really protect homeowners on the Southwest side, and by protecting their biggest investment, their home and its property value. Our program alleviates life's future worry and assures homeowners that we have your back. We encourage our homeowners to continue adding value to their property by providing our home improvement loan program with some of the most attractive rates out there right now. And again, like I mentioned earlier, we pride ourselves that you can go ahead and take out the loan more than once. And the idea too behind the program is that if we could help one home at a time collectively, we can continue to uplift the community. And this program also incentivizes our neighborhoods because it's not offered in the entire city of Chicago. As mentioned, Southwest side, Ashburn, Scottsdale, and then just a little part of the Northwest side. So yeah, I can go ahead and take any questions. Thank you for having me today. Yes.
So what are the boundaries for?
Yes. So we start back of the yards, McKinley Park, as far west as Garfield Ridge and Clearing, as far south as the northern part of Ashburn, Scottsdale. So it's a very big district. And I actually have maps in the back for everyone too, so you guys can see. But like I said, we always recommend that you take a look at your property tax bill just to ensure that you pay into the fund. Mm-hmm. Yes.
So the reason I ask is, I think your boundaries go to like Wood or Walmart.
Right. Yes, they do.
Okay. There's just 3 more streets. What is it to Ashburn with no houses on it? What's the process to make it go to the left to the neighborhood?
Oh, to extend it.
Except like the 3 blocks.
Yes. So okay, so that's funny because that's actually something that we're talking about. We've been talking extensively, like with other groups and other partners, to expand the program. So the way that this program started was there was petitions, and there were signatures that were gathered in order to make it onto a referendum, and then it was voted on, and then that's how it began. So that I'm still in the process. I haven't spoken to some other groups about that and expanding the program. We just haven't obviously come up with a concrete solution yet, but yeah, I have to look into that a little more. Thank you.
I think I actually, I don't know, just
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, that is, like I said, it's coming up more and more. So yeah, that is something that I know. I was speaking with the executive director of the Northwest side. We always kind of meet together to see, how everything's are going. And that was something that we did talk about on, like, how do we expand and. Right. No, yeah.
Is that a legislative process?
Yes.
You said needs to happen?
Yeah.
Figured it would be.
Yeah.
But it sounds like it's a city.
We go through the state.
Oh, you go through the state.
Still would go through the state, yeah. So yeah.
Because you can do precinct by, like for city stuff, you can do precinct by.
Right, right.
Referendum. Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah, sure.
So I used this a couple of years ago. It's great. I bought solar with it.
Oh.
We're going to redo our kitchen.
Yes,
So my understanding is that it's for things you can't take with you if you move.
correct.
So what does that entail? Is that like appliances? Is that?
That Italian marble
that-
countertop.
Yeah.
I mean, right.
Not buying.
So the way that we always say, because again, we don't want to create any red tape. We really want to help, you invest in your home. So the way that we always say it is, you cannot purchase a stove and a fridge and just that. If you were to upgrade the entire kitchen and that's part of it, right? That is okay.
And if I did something to work myself.
That's fine.
Do I just proof receipts and
Receipts,
say?
yes. So that's another great thing that we love about the program too, is we do not have, I mean, if you could go ahead and do the work yourself, that is fine. We always recommend just to save the receipts because we do have that home inspection required. So, sometimes our home inspector will go ahead and, ask for the receipts. But yeah, if you can do the work yourself, that's fine. You just can't pay yourself for the labor. You can purchase the material, you can use that money to purchase materials, but yeah, you just can't pay yourself.
I could have that.
Do you have a list of preferred vendors or can you use anybody?
So you can use anybody. We have at our office, and I do have to put this onto our website. We do have like a little like checklist kind of tip, check bbb.org, make sure you get 3 bids. We have a little list that we can try to recommend on how to start that process. But we don't have any recommendations just because we're still part of the state, so we don't want any, favoritism.
And can you use the money for non-tangibles like permits?
Ooh, that's a good question. I've never had that question before. I mean, you could, yeah, I mean, I don't want to say no. I mean, it's still, if it's part of your project, I mean, I could see, that's a good question. I'd have to get back to you on that. That's a good one. It's part of your work, so, I'm not going to.
So you're not going through a whole line of.
No, at the end of the day, as long as it adds value to your home, right? That's what we want.
Right.
So.
Well, and there's certainly a practice of sort of contractors do the permitting
Right.
themselves, and then they
And then you-
just roll it into the bill. to you.
Exactly. Right, yeah, exactly. So that probably, I would say it's okay. Yeah. Yeah, no problem.
Any other questions?
Yeah. And we have that $25 new member promotion for
What
1 to
is
2
the
members.
membership policy?
That's it. It's just the appraisal cost. And that's a nice thing too, is there is no annual fee. Once you're in the program, you are in the program lifetime and that's it. Now you can choose to update your appraisal. Like, let's say you joined in this year and then in a couple of years, you took out the home improvement loan, you added some upgrades to your home. You can have another appraisal done if you think your value went up. We always, again, say, save your receipts. If it totals to, I think it's over $5,000 or $5,000, your next appraisal will be half off. So that'll be $62.50. The original price is $125 usually for the 1 to 2 unit family home. But yeah, we want people to, add into their home, update their appraisal. So
Does that 5-year clock then reset with the new appraisal?
with the new appraisal, it's 3 years. Yeah, as long as you satisfy the 5-year requirement, you're done with that. And then the next value would be 3 years.
And then it does that. I understand that the, recouping your lost sale applies to your primary home, right?
Mhm.
Does the home improvement loans also apply to just the primary home?
No. So you cannot, okay, so here's a great question. That's a very good question. So in our state statute, if you rent to, it has to be an immediate relative. You can use it for a property that you're renting to an immediate relative, not to just tenants, correct? Yeah.
Some rent paying
Yeah.
person, because this is tied to property taxes and it's through a legislative process. Is there any sunsetting on the program, or is the program like always gonna be here, or that, potentially something that?
So I would say we're always going to be here. I think one thing right now that we are working on are just different initiatives that will continue to help homeowners stay in their home, add value to the home. So we're always thinking on different initiatives that we could go ahead and help, Chicago homeowners. But I mean, as of right now, these are just the foundation of the program.
Financing co-op ownership models would be great.
I'll have to put that one down, yeah.
Should be very good. Yeah, and Victoria, I think you mentioned this a little bit, but just so folks are clear, we pay into this.
Yes,
Exactly.
tax
It's
levy.
in our, for those of us who are homeowners, it shows up on our property tax.
Yeah, you'll see it on the second
Right,
installment.
it's not a huge amount, but we're
Mm-mm.
sort of paying in to make this.
Sometimes even
a
less than
program
that. I've
that-
seen
yeah.
like $18, $40, $36, yeah. Mhm.
What are the rates for the?
Oh, yeah, I love, for the loans.
Like, like a 20 and the. 40.
Yes, and this is something I was just telling Liz how proud I am of this because we, as everybody, obviously if there was changes in the market, we reevaluated our loan rates and our bank partners decided to stay the same, which is great because they're super attractive. Okay, so up to 10,000, 0% 5-year term. The second loan is up to 15,000, 2% interest, 5-year term. The third program is up to 20,000, 3%, 7-year term. And then the fourth program is up to 30,000, 3.5% interest, 15-year term. So,
And if it's a higher amount, if you're paying that interest rate, the entire amount, it's like the first 10,000 is interest free, and then the next 15,000 is at that higher rate.
it would be, I'm sorry, I don't.
Is it 30 at 35%, or is it the first 10,000 at 0?
Oh, I see what you're saying. I think it would be based on the loan program that you would actually, yeah, I see what you're saying, yeah. So what we have some people do, like, so we had some members, it was like, they redid their kitchen and then they started off with they didn't want to pay any interest. So they did it, each section, the 10,000 here, paid it off as quick as they could, then started the 10,000 somewhere else, So it's up to you. But we have been seeing a lot more, the 30,000 especially, we saw that in the last couple of years. So,
That's the highest, right?
yeah, that's the highest, yeah. So, and with the loan program as well, you can join our program and apply the next day, not once you have your certificate and everything like that, but you can apply right away. So, yeah. But we have a ton of literature in the back, bags as well, pens, so please feel free to grab some.
Yeah,
So
no,
thank you.
Can we have you back?
Oh, absolutely.
Like, I just think this is a really worthwhile program to keep
Yeah.
letting people know about. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, no, thank you so much.
thank you. All right, and yeah, and this is, as you know, it's on sort of live, so.
Oh, yeah, forget it. Sorry.
I didn't see any questions.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I forgot about
I
that. Sorry.
posted your website in our chat.
Oh, awesome. Thank you.
Perfect.
It's in our agenda, so we'll share pamphlet information and then basic program information once the video is posted as well. for the
Oh,
folks
okay,
that are
thank you.
online. But I've posted their website in the Zoom chat, so.
Oh, awesome. Thanks. Well, thank you.
Excellent, thank you. All right. Okay, so we've got a few upcoming things to share with folks and then we'll wrap the meeting. For those of us that are lovers of our park, and especially the sort of the community garden area there, where we also now have an orchard that got sort of put in, though it'll be a few years before it starts to give, but it got put in. There is an event coming up in a couple weekends. In a couple weekends. Saturday, February 25th. A local artist in the community is putting up a set of sort of ice sculptures that will, and there's going to be a whole event around it from 2 to 4 on the 25th. Where there'll be treats and activities. And those ice sculptures then are going to melt, but they have seeds in them for native flowers. So over the year, then we'll see sort of the flowers coming up in those spots. So wanted to invite folks to that. It's just a really great place or a great sort of activity to sort of get community involved and to sort of keep doing what we do in McKinley Park, which is making it a better place for all of us. So that's coming up. The other piece the other thing that is coming up is, for those of us who are, planning to vote, election day is February 28th. Early voting is already in progress. The McKinley Park Library, is open and has early voting every day. So that's,
As well
that
as
is
a
going.
Dropbox. for
And a
your
drop,
mail
yes.
ballot.
That is where I dropped my ballot the other day, my mail-in ballot. So those of us who have mail-in ballots, you can take it in there and drop it into the box. And then you get a nice little email that confirms that it got there. The other thing that is coming up, we already talked about it, but I'll remind us again, March 7th, from 6:30 to 8, in a location to be determined, is when there will be a community input meeting about the RFP for the Pershing buildings. So that is a pretty major, will have a major impact on our community. As many of us as possible should come out for that to really hear more from the developers that have made the proposals, and to really be able to weigh in on what it is that we want to see happen in the neighborhood. And there will be a written comment period open after that, which will make sure of letting folks know about and getting written comment in as well. And then we have our monthly meeting coming up on March 16th. And it will be here at the Bethany Baptist again, because, and then at some point we'll move back to the library, but the library is booked for these next few months. So that's what we got. Any other announcements that anybody has? Yes, Dana.
This Tuesday, February 21st, the McKinley Park Advisory Council is meeting at the Field House at 6 o'clock. Really important, because this meeting and the following meeting, they will be having elections for new officers.
Okay.
And they're going to be talking about activities for the summer. As far as I know, the McKinley Park Advisory Council needs members like pronto, or we just won't have any support for any of the activities in our parks. And it would be a real shame if that happened. So if I could just mention very quickly that in the work that I do, bringing events to the park, a lot of it is weighted on community support. So we're hoping to have more support from our community to support the activities that come to the park.
And just to reiterate, to make sure folks online heard, that's the McKinley Park Advisory Council's meeting, which is coming up on Tuesday, this coming Tuesday, the 21st at 6 p.m. at the McKinley Park Field House. It's Punchki Day. So those are going to be punchkis.
I also heard there might be punchki there.
Yeah, maybe. It's a very important meeting. Membership needs to grow and be sustained for the advisory council in order to continue to get funds to promote and create more activities in our park.
Yeah, and it's the group that's helped make possible what we already have there, right? The cleanups that happen, the garden space, the midnight circus that comes, the farmer's market that we had for a couple of years. So yeah, we all make that happen. Any other announcements? Okay, well, with that, thanks everybody for coming. We'll see everybody again, hopefully soon, at the community input meeting for the Pershing buildings and at our community meeting in March. Oh, yes, go ahead. Okay.
Council's been involved at all the zoning changes for 35th Street that was announced last month.
About, and it has been in our neighborhood plan that small businesses would be promoted along there. We have not been directly involved in kind of this change that was announced. Yeah.
Are you speaking in?
As far as I know, with that Nicole Lee and Alderman Abarca.
We had gone, we've been in communication with Alderwoman Abarca as well around the zoning committee that she wants to put together to see if we can have a seat at the table. I don't think anything's confirmed, but we've been talking about that because that's very, very important. As Liz said, core to our plan is what's happening around 35th. We've also, and upcoming this summer, we'll again be engaging with UIC to kind of vision out and develop out plans for 35th. So it's very, very important to us and to our community members who have volunteered over the years. to put together the plan and then do those activities with UIC.
Yeah, I asked this because we have a lot of the same zoning issues in the election, and I know that there are. You know, I think that's what happens with the election, but there are plans to do similar things on the
Yeah.
our retail strips. So I was
Yep.
curious how.
Yeah.
You guys get tickets, you know.
Yeah, and the happened along 35th Street, but it was when we were in the 11th ward, that whole strip got down zoned.
I would suspect it's probably also there.
But it was, yeah. And so now we're trying to and it's been we've had numerous small sort of folks that are trying to start small businesses come to us. Because they are very interested in space there, but they keep running into walls because of the fact that they'd have to go through a whole rezoning process. And, you know, and some of the, building owners are like, well, we don't want to mess with that. So we're hoping that happens.
I think,
No, go ahead.
I don't know what, your position is on it, but like, because we have a plan that's been already informed by, a lot of community input is what went into the plan. Hope that you can have a comprehensive look at the needs and wants and kind of shape zoning decisions. Or I might be speaking for myself here, shape, the zoning, decisions around that. So you're kind of mapping out the neighborhood along with this plan that's been developed.
We did the CMAP plan. I'm sorry to hijack it.
No, go ahead.
I mean, you're front over right now, but we had a CMAP plan, but I don't think it was as comprehensive what you guys did in
Oh,
in this
interesting.
neighborhood. So it was a lot about just like open remote and then call it.
I call it a day.
Oh, yeah.
But now that's getting closer. We've got all these RS3 zoning for single family and particularly businesses. So I think whatever happens, the main reason I'm asking is that maybe it would be kind of a precursor will potentially happen in my neighborhood. So
Sure.
would love to just follow along as you guys go through your own zoning process.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. When did the CMAP happen or the plan happen for y'all?
It was, I think a couple of years before.
Okay.
The beginning part was not.
Are you talking about the CMAP plan in Chinatown?
For Bridgeport, so it was all focused.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, so we're gonna wrap the meeting, but we can hang after and talk more about that. Yeah. All right. Thanks all for coming. We'll see you all again next month.